Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast. My name is Amir. Thank you for following the podcast on Spotify or Apple, and also thank you for subscribing to the channel on YouTube. So if you are watching this on YouTube, I'm on my path to 2,000 subscribers, so don't forget to like, comment, and share. So Brian Windhorst of ESPN basically came out and said that the Philadelphia 76ers, after losing to the New York Knicks in the first round, are going to be going after Paul George potentially once he becomes an unrestricted free agent this season. The Clippers are possibly not going to offer a max extension. And so the Sixers are interested in him and will offer that max deal. He's 34 years old, coming off a contract where he was making around 42 or 46 million, somewhere in that range, in his final season last year. And they also mentioned something also interesting, that the 76ers, if they can't get Paul George, who is their, top of their list, first choice, they should monitor the Miami Heat situation with Jimmy Butler and his 2-year contract extension. So Jimmy Butler, as I've mentioned in other videos, is up for a 2-year extension up to $113 million. Miami Heat probably will give it to him, I'm assuming. But if not, if there is an issue and the Miami Heat want to offer him only a 1-year deal or for less, that 2-year offer, but for less money, there could be problems there. And Jimmy could perhaps ask for a trade. If Miami, in my opinion, doesn't give him that extension, then I feel like you have to trade him at this point. And the Sixers would be interested. He's obviously friends with Joel Embiid. Kyle Lowry, his best friend, is there as well. He's obviously played for the Sixers. The Sixers are the ones who traded Jimmy to Miami. So that is a situation they're saying they should monitor. They also said they should monitor Brandon Ingram from the Pelicans. So I don't know what the Sixers honestly would offer. I did play around with some players in a trade machine, and I don't think the Miami Heat get like the greatest deal for a 34, 35-year-old Jimmy Butler at this point. But a trade that could work in theory would be the Miami Heat receive Buddy Hield, DeAnthony Melton, Paul Reed, and Kelly Oubre, and a 2026 first-round pick for Jimmy Butler. So I don't think the Sixers would hesitate losing those 4 players and a first-round pick for Jimmy. But do you think the Miami Heat organization and fans would be willing to give up Jimmy for those players and 1 pick? I don't know if Jimmy at this age can acquire multiple first-round picks. I'm sure the Heat would want 2 first-round picks if they're going to be trading away Jimmy Butler and focusing on their new core, which would be Bam, Tyler, Hawkes, and Jovic. Throwing in players like Hield would be a good rotational player. Kelly Oubre Jr. would be a good starter as well for really cheap, even though he is an unrestricted free agent, so they would have to re-sign him to probably a more lucrative deal. He only took $2 million, but that hypothetically could work. But interesting to see that Brian Windhorst and ESPN mentioned that Jimmy could go back to the Sixers. There's not that many teams out there that could afford Jimmy Butler or necessarily need him. But I guess apparently the Sixers could use Jimmy Butler, and Joel Embiid has had a horrible postseason record, has never been past the second round, always injured. When it seems like it's time for the playoffs, always gets hurt towards the end of the season, even though he played really good, but he was banged up. He could have played a lot better, obviously. Maxey is a young developing star. They have him on a cheap contract, which is good for them. They need another piece. They had James Harden, didn't work out a couple years ago. Jimmy Butler, Maxey, and Embiid would be a interesting trio. But I don't know if Miami's ready to give up their championship build and window by trading Jimmy Butler. I think it's more likely that there's 2 paths. They go all in and try to get Jimmy the help that he needs, which is a Donovan Mitchell type player. If Damian Lillard requests the trade, which it doesn't seem like he will now after his exit interview. I think he said he's excited for year 2 in Milwaukee. But if there is a whale or superstar that is available, you go that route first. Miami should go all in for Mitchell. I think you should trade everybody for Mitchell, essentially, except for Jimmy and Bam. Second route, well, then you need to tweak this roster. And how do you do that? You either trade Terry Rozier, you either trade Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson. Caleb Martin is probably not going to resign and go somewhere else. Haywood Highsmith is a free agent, probably won't resign him. So the team is going to change on the fringes, but then I think we need to make a change because in the last 2 seasons, I think the big three of Tyler, Jimmy, and Bam are only 40 and 38. So they only played 27 games total this season together, and that's just simply not enough. They're always injured. They're always hurt. They're inconsistent when they play together. It just doesn't fit. And UD obviously just said on ESPN he doesn't think Tyler's a good fit for the starting lineup either. So if he could come off the bench, that's fine. Then we could keep Tyler. But then I don't know who we're going to replace Caleb and Highsmith and potentially Thomas Bryant or whoever those guys leave because we're not going to have any money. So we're going to have to get veteran minimum players. So I don't know if that is going to satisfy Miami Heat fans. So we'll see. But either way, I don't think this trade's going to happen. I would be shocked if the Sixers were able to pull this off and get Jimmy Butler. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's possible? Would you guys entertain that idea? Would you think the Miami Heat should trade Jimmy Butler to the Sixers if they offer a good package? Probably something better than what I mentioned. I was just playing around, and those aren't the greatest players, and there's only one pick. So I don't know. Do you think we should get 2 picks for Jimmy Butler if this hypothetical situation happens? Let me know in the comments. I don't think it's going to happen. I want to keep Jimmy Butler. I want to focus on adding Donovan Mitchell to this team if possible, or trading like a Tyler Hero for role players like a Dorian Finney-Smith or like a Royce O'Neal type of player, which is not going to be the best option or move the needle, but it's something we need to do is inject new players on this roster. Hopefully more athletic, younger folks, but also we need to add another center at this point or power forward. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching.